this is like wrapping around the corner, going down the street. So it's interesting to see.
A week away from Election Day, thousands of people already getting their votes in. You can vote early all the way through this weekend, but time is running out if you want to send in an absentee ballot, Ed.
Today is the last day to apply for that absentee ballot, and we know so many people are doing so, whether online or in the mail. If you're looking for an online absentee ballot application, you can go to WKBW.com right now, and you can find a link under our Democracy 2020 section. If you're looking to send in that application by mail for that absentee ballot, today is the deadline for it to be postmarked. You'll get that absentee ballot back in the mail, and then you can either bring it in person, or you can send it back to the Board of Elections office. Those votes, though, won't be counted until almost 2 weeks after Election Day.
We expect to receive 75% of the ballots back that we've mailed out. At that point, we then will count the ballots, and we're anticipating 2 to 3 days to complete that task.
The Erie County Board of Elections says voters should feel confident their vote is safe and is going to count. And this morning we're joined live by phone by one of the chairmen of the Board of Elections to help break down this absentee ballot process, something that for a lot of people is pretty new. Jeremy Zellner, good morning to you. Jeremy, walk us through the process here if you would. So many people are doing this for the first time. What do we need to know if we're applying for this absentee ballot?
Well, good morning, Ed. Thanks for having me on. At this point, this is so late in the process, given that we only have a week until Election Day. What we're strongly urging folks is to use our online portal on our website, elections.erie.gov. Use our online portal if you're going to request an absentee. It's going to be up until midnight tonight, and you can. Hello?
Yes?
Go ahead, Jeremy.
You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, we're all good.
Okay. Use that portal, request the absentee, and then when you get it, you have other options other than the mail. If you want, if you get it before the end of early voting, you can drop it off at any of the early voting sites across the county. You won't have to wait in line. Just find an inspector. You can bring it to any election site on Election Day and drop it at any location with an inspector there as well. It's getting late to pop things in the mail now, Ed. The post office is telling us sometimes 15 days it takes to get stuff in the mail. Wow.
And Jeremy, this is kind of a unique year. Let's talk about the impact these absentee ballots you think are going to have this election year.
Well, I can tell you that we've had early voting, and as of last night, between the absentees we've received and the early voters, we're already at 17% turnout for our county, which is tremendous. 48,000 people have made their voice heard for early voting, and about 56,000 absentees have already been returned to the Board of Elections in Erie County.
And I'm looking at something on Twitter that you guys had put out yesterday. 20,000 people voted in Erie County alone yesterday. Let's talk about who these people actually are, because I think it's a really interesting breakdown. We see lines stretched around the corner, blocks for some cases. Are these people, and Jeremy, obviously we understand your politics here, but are they voting for President Trump? Are they voting for President Biden? Or are they voting against one another?
Well, I think what you're seeing is people who want to make their voice heard, who are energized for this election. We're finding that many of the people who are casting their ballots are regular voters. They're not first-time people who are coming out. They seem to be overwhelmingly Democratic voters, but they're regular voters. You know, we're not seeing a whole lot of first-time voters out at the polls with early voting. And you mentioned the lines. We have had lines. We had 20,000 people just yesterday when we had 26,000 total for early voting during the whole 9-day period last year. It's really been an outstanding amount of people that are out there.
So what do you recommend for those people at this point? I mean, they're standing in these lines for some time, obviously with some concern for COVID. What are you telling these folks?
Well, first, we're looking for their cooperation. Most everyone that I have seen, and I've seen hundreds of them out at the polls, have had a mask on. So make sure you're wearing a mask. Please stay 6 feet apart. But if you don't want to wait in a line, we have universal voting in Erie County. You can go to any of the 37 sites across the county So you can drive out to North Collins, Brant, Boston, Colden, Evans, all of these towns, Alden. Folks from Amherst were driving out to Clarence and Newstead to cast their ballots, so the line wasn't too late. Go check it out in other areas. Make a plan, but have some flexibility as well.
And Jeremy, real quick, we're running out of time. Just one last question. With the numbers we're seeing for early voting, what are you anticipating to see on Election Day itself?
Well, that's what we're hoping. We're hoping to see less of a crowd on Election Day with people who are making their voice heard. As I said, 17% of the voters have cast their ballot, and we still have a week to go. We have until Sunday to vote early. So we're hoping that this early voting period takes down any anxiety and crowds for Election Day.
And once again, today is the deadline to register for that absentee ballot. You have to have your absentee ballot application postmarked by today. And as you just heard from Jeremy Zellner, the Erie County Democratic Board of Elections Commissioner, you have to really do it online in order to get that ballot back in the mail in a timely fashion. Jeremy, thank you so much for your time. We certainly appreciate it. Don't forget to log on to WKBW.com for all of your election 2020 needs, including deadlines and polling places. You can click on the Democracy 2020 tab at the top of your screen.
All right.